In this video, we're going to be showing you the 5 best mid-range standing desks under $1,000 that you can buy today. And stick around until the end where I share a few tips on how you can save some money on a few of the options in the list. Our first desk in the list is the Uplift V2 Commercial. Now this is our pick for best for short users. And as it's configured in its most popular way, which is a 30 by 60, it starts at about $849. Now it goes as low as 22.6 inches, which is incredibly low. So for me, being 6 feet tall, I'm sitting in an EMEA chair. I'm gonna lower it all the way down so you can see what this looks like. But at its lowest point, you can tell someone of my height, I physically can't use this. This is way too low. And just this chair, I mean, no matter what, even if you were shorter than me, I can see this being pretty difficult to get in here unless you had smaller legs. My thought is that you'd probably have to have a specialized chair, so something to take note of if you're considering this desk. The Uplift V2 Commercial also comes with a traditional cross support, which really helps a lot with its lateral stability. Now, what I noticed with this particular desk is that when you get up into the higher portions of it, so somewhere around 44, 45 inches, you'll see that it starts to have a bit of front to back stability issues. And this is really just an overlap thing. But again, if this is best for shorter users, that might not even be a place that you're really taking the desk. The Uplift desk brand definitely comes with the most complete top selection. As you can see here on their website, they've got everything from hardwood to bamboo to powder coated and laminate. So there's quite a few options there. I'd say in the list, this is probably the strongest selection out of all 5 brands. So the Uplift desk that we have today does have their optional programmable switch. They do have a few different options when it comes to programmable switches. This is probably my favorite. They also have a paddle option and just a standard up and down switch as well. Now the nice thing about this product is they do have good collision avoidance now with this upgrade that they've made to their control box, which is a 6-way accelerometer. We actually found that it was pretty sensitive, so it would be a good thing to have if you're trying to go with a programmable switch. Now the Uplift V2 Commercial does come with a 350-pound weight capacity. We've actually done quite a bit of extensive testing on most of the desks, and we found that this had no real issues lifting that capacity. Now it comes with just an okay electronics, gears, and motor package that's made in China. We did find that this product has recently been upgraded as well to a 15-year warranty on the entire frame. This would include the things that we're talking about that are sort of just okay. So that's a nice reassurance just in case something was to go wrong. Now their surfaces are covered for a period of 5 years, so you want to make note of that and just be cautious when you're using some of their surfaces because things like bamboo don't necessarily hold up as well as something like, say, their laminate here. Another nice change that Uplift has made recently is they're now offering free returns on most of their desks. Now some of their custom tops aren't going to be available in this program, but this is something you should always be looking for when selecting your next desk. Our pick for best for tall users is the fully Jarvis Extended. Now it's important that you're looking at the Extended. They do have a couple different frame options, but the extended version will go up to 51.1 inches with their surface attached to it. Now this is going to retail for about $759. It's coming from the same OEM manufacturer, Kang, as the Uplift desk that we had just shown, but it is a different frame design. Now you can tell when you look at the frame, the orientation of the columns is the same in a traditional manner with a big on the bottom and the small on the top, but they're utilizing what's called a wedge system in their frame, something that they actually recently changed over to, which helps quite a bit with lateral stability. Now we'll talk about stability here in a little bit. So I do want to show you for reference how tall this goes. I'm about 6 feet tall and it goes much taller than I would need. But this is what it looks like next to someone my size at standing height. You can see it's way up here. So users that are 6'5", 6'6" should really have no issues getting this thing up high enough to use properly. Now, of course, when the desk is in this taller position, there are some stability issues with it. They did add the wedge system underneath, which helped a lot with the lateral stability. Now, of course, desks at their max height are always going to be the worst. So if we bring it down just a little bit, I'll bring it even down to like 45 inches. Just to give you an idea. This is where I would use the desk, and you can see it's actually pretty stout here at this point. Now, I will say, even though it's fixed really their lateral stability issues, the front to back is something that we definitely noticed with this product, and it, I think, just stems from some issues inside the columns there, just a fit issue. You can see when I move the desk, you can start to see some of the motion, the movement in the columns here. You can see the glides moving. And then if we go up a little bit taller, so if you're a taller user, this is something you want to be conscious of. So let's say we're at 47 inches now. This is where you really start to notice it. So if we bring the camera in, so you can actually see the movement down here in the columns as I'm holding down the foot. That's really where that front to back is happening. So it can be a fit issue, it can be an overlap issue as this thing starts to get extended out. It's just something to be conscious of. It's unfortunate as a tall user, a lot of times stability issues are something you'll just have to kind of deal with. So the Jarvis that we have here today is featuring their programmable switch. Now this is an OLED switch that they introduced, which is really the only one that we've seen. I honestly don't really like it. I just don't think it's quite as intuitive. Now you can see the memory presets there are working for me, no issue. And if I press and hold the down button. But what I find is that when it goes to sleep and then you try to reactivate it, sometimes you kind of just have to push a few times to get it to go. You can't really see anything. So that'd be really the only complaint. It looks super sleek. I love the way that it looks. I just don't think it's quite as functional and as quick to use as some of just the regular tactile switches that you'll find. Much like the Uplift desk, this does come with a 6-way accelerometer. So that is going to be your collision avoidance. I'll just show you how it works. As it hits something, it reverses course and backs off. It does it both directions, and it's really designed to stop anything getting in the way, whether it be your furniture or potentially fingers. It's a nice safety feature to have with a programmable switch. Now the rest of the electronics package, gears and motor, I think are just okay being made in China, but they do come with a 15-year warranty, which is important so that you can rest assured that at least they'll cover it. Fully is a well-known brand. They've been around a long time, so I think that they will honor that without any issue. Now the one concern I do have with their warranty is the fact that they're only warranting their surfaces for 1 year. That's quite a big discrepancy from their frame, and it's actually quite a bit shorter than that of the Uplift desk. The lifting capacity for the Jarvis is about 350 pounds. We also found through testing that it didn't really have any issues lifting those weights. Now when it comes to return policies, unfortunately Fully isn't really the best of the list, and they require you to pay return shipping. Now there aren't any restocking fees, but the return shipping costs can get a bit expensive depending where you are and where you have to ship it to, so just be conscious of that if you decide to go with this model. Our pick for easiest to assemble is the Vari Electric. It retails for about $795 in their most popular configuration, again a 30 by 60. Now this is really the easiest desk that we've tested to assemble, and it was a focus from the start from Vari when they first introduced their Vari Electric, or ProDesk, I guess they called the series, which had a traditional cross support. As you can see on this model, it no longer has a cross support, something that they went away from, which could be for various reasons. It is a problem from a lateral stability standpoint, as this desk isn't quite as laterally stable as it once was. But with the square tubes that they've gone with now, it is actually a bit more stable front to back, so there's an improvement there. Now, when Vari made a transition to this style frame, they also moved from Kaide as an OEM manufacturer to Jiakang, so that's now 3 desks in the list that are being made by the same manufacturer. So I do want to show you just quick what I mean by the stability with this desk. Now, again, this is at, I believe, about 44 inches, so gonna be a decent height for me. I'm 6 feet tall, but you can tell front to back, this thing is super stout. I mean, it really doesn't have any movement at all on this thing, which is pretty awesome. But the problem is when they went away from that traditional cross support, you can see it's not nearly as stable side to side or laterally. So there's a improvement on the front to back, but of course, without a traditional cross support, it's really hard to get rid of the lateral stability issues unless you go with some type of wedge system, which they don't have in their frame. So the Vari comes with a pretty nice adjustment range, going from about 25 inches at the sitting height up to 50.5, so just a little bit less than that of the Jarvis. Now it does come standard with a 4-button programmable switch, so there are no upgrades here. It's nice and tactile, it's easy to use. It does again come with a collision avoidance system, kind of like that we saw on the Uplift. So you can see when I hit it, it's not quite as sensitive as some of the other brands, but you can see it's still fairly sensitive, so it's going to help if you're using the one-touch functionality on this desk. Now, unfortunately, much like the Uplift and the Jarvis, they're using the same brand for their manufacture of electronics, gears, and motors, so unfortunately, I think these are just okay. And now the flip side, compared to those first 2 products we showed, is that the warranty for the Vari is only 5 years, so it is 3 times shorter than that of those 2 alternatives. So this is something definitely to consider. The weight capacity is also quite a bit less at only 200 pounds as well. Now they do offer free returns, so if you decide to buy the Vari, you don't love it, they've got a good return policy and you'll get all your money back. Our best pick for heavy weight capacities is our very own VertDesk V3 Plus. Now this does retail for about $900, but it comes with a 450 pound weight capacity, so you really should have no issues lifting almost anything that you're trying to put on the desk. It really is built for stability. You can see it has a traditional cross support, and so from a left to right standpoint, it is very stout. The same thing is true for the front to back, which is one of the reasons why we limited the height adjustment range to 20 inches. So it'll go from 27 to 47 inches. And the reason is because if you don't do that, you have overlap issues in the columns, which is why you'll see a lot of times in some of the desks as they go extended up, there's a lot of movement in the actual columns themselves. You saw that with the fully product, it had issues with that front to back, and that's why it was moving in the columns. The Uplift was the same way. Now, as mentioned, the VertDesk V3 Plus does come with the highest price tag in the list, but you are getting some things to kind of back that up. Number one, it has premium gears and motors from the manufacturer Ketter. This is a German manufacturer that's been in the business for a very long time. It also comes with a control box from Lang Innotek, which is very advanced, not only in the construction of the box, but when we look at the technology behind it. It does have gyro sense for collision avoidance. It also has a voice control that you can use with either your Android or your iOS phones. Not everyone will use that voice control function, and in that case, you might want to go with the programmable switch as well. As mentioned, this is the most expensive option in the list, but it does come with the longest warranty, with a lifetime warranty on everything included when you buy the VertDesk V3 Plus. Be conscious of the fact that it comes with the most limited range, though, of height adjustment from 27 to 47 inches, so depending on your needs, that may or may not work. It's also a bit noisier than the other desks that we tested, with a higher pitch sound when it moves up and down. So again, depending on your space, that may or may not be an issue, but there are free returns, so you are able to try this product and return it at no cost to you to find out if those will be limiting issues. Our last pick is our best from a major manufacturer or major brand, and that is the Steelcase Solo, which currently retails for about $840. Now, they actually were the biggest manufacturer in the world up until the Herman Miller Knoll acquisition, so you've got nice backing from a large brand if you decide to go this route. Steelcase decided to partner with Linex to complete this frame, and honestly, this is the first time I've ever seen a single motor driven system from Linex. So it was very unique as I got a chance to kind of take a closer look at the Steelcase Solo. Now, the Steelcase Solo wasn't too far behind the Vari when it came to assembly time, so if you're someone who's a little bit concerned with assembly, this might also be a good option. Now, even though this is a single motor system, we did find through testing it didn't have any issues lifting its 295 pound weight capacity. But one thing we did notice is that uneven loads do have an issue when you're away from the motor, so that's something to be conscious of when you decide to put things on the desktop. Now, because Steelcase has made the decision to partner with Linex, I do believe it has high-end components throughout. This includes the electronics package, gears, and motors. It's also backed by a 12-year warranty, which is a standard at Steelcase. Now, a couple things to take note of. This was the least stable of all of the desks. You can see it does come with just a standard paddle up and down switch. But when we get this desk up to, say, another 44-inch range, you can see there is some movement front to back. But really where the issue is with this one is just left to right stability, lateral stability. It doesn't have a traditional cross support. It doesn't have a wedge system. The way that it's sort of a quick connect on the sides is also going to have some additional play. You can see here the way that the frame is actually connecting into the uppers. It's not necessarily beautiful, and it's a quick connect system, so it's not as permanent as if you were putting bolts into the side, which is going to definitely change the stability of this desk. The other thing I noticed with this one too is they're using a high pressure laminate, which generally is a nicer look and a better quality surface, but this is definitely an inexpensive option with that. So when you look underneath the desk surface, you can actually see it's got just a kind of a cheap paper backing, and it started to come apart here just in shipping. There's a big chip out of it. So most of the desks that you're gonna see, well, in fact, all of the desks that we showed today are going to have a matching laminate top and bottom, which I think is a better solution. Now, much like the surface quality, I was a little bit disappointed in the actual foot itself. You can actually see there's these little notches on here that really show up when you look at it. And this has got to be some type of a process that they're using to cut these feet. I don't know if it's being cut on a laser, but you can feel it on your fingers too. So it's just not as clean as you would hope. The uprights, the columns, as expected from Linac, but so the foot, the uppers, and the surface, maybe not to the same level of quality as you would expect from a Steelcase product and definitely from Linac. Now, Steelcase does offer free returns on the Solo, so if you buy it and don't love it, they will take it back and give you all your money back. Hey guys, as promised, our bonus tip for the video. Now, if you found the desk in this list to be just a little bit out of your price range, I've got a way that you could potentially save as much as 30%. Each of the desks behind me from Fully, Uplift, and VertDesk are available in a frame-only option, which could be a really nice way to save some money sourcing your own surface. You might even have something at home that you could use for free. Hopefully this video was helpful. If you're still not sure if a standing desk is the right fit for you, check out our next video. Thanks for watching.